Welcome to Jappa Central. In this podcast, we explore the lives of people who've been born in one country and they've moved to another country. We explore their stories, how they grew up, life in their home countries, and then life in the new countries they've moved to. Hope you enjoyed this episode. So yes, welcome to another episode of Jappa Central. Apologies, I have been out of circulation for a while, but life happens. But on today's session, we have a very good friend of mine. This guy's my guy. Real talk.
Yeah.
So, my childhood friend, best buddies in secondary school.
True.
Currently lives in Canada, but he's in the UK. And yeah, I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity for us to catch up and have an interview, and seeing as we both grew up in Nigeria and live in Canada now, so I thought it would be a good time for us to catch up. So, Victor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank
You
you
can
for
see how
having
I'm
me.
smiling. I'm excited. I'm excited to be talking to my guy.
Yeah, it's a first for me, but let's go.
Yeah. I know you're shy. I know you're a little bit shy, but it's fine.
Let's
So,
go.
first things first, I'd like to. So, for people who watch Jappa Central and who understand what we're about, the show is about immigration.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so understanding where people have grown up, where they live at the moment, opportunities and challenges they found, and the
Okay.
reasons that they decided to leave. So, everyone knows I grew up in Nigeria, went to the same secondary school,
Yeah.
Nigerian Navy Secondary School. But before we even get there, I want to start from the very beginning. So,
Okay.
where were you born? I know the answers to these
Oh
stories.
yeah, sure.
to
Why
this,
not?
but for the
Okay, so I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, to be precise. Nigeria Navy Hospital in
Mhm.
Navy Town, where we went to school together. Yeah, so this was say how many years ago? No, I didn't say that.
20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so Lagos, Nigeria, and Navy Town.
Navy Town
Nigeria
Hospital.
Navy
Yeah.
Hospital, to be precise.
Nigeria Navy Hospital, Navy
Yeah.
Town, yeah. Okay. And so what was growing up like for you? How was life?
Life was very, very, very exciting. I mean, if I can remember, it was free. So I grew up in Navy Town,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have fences between our
Between the
houses.
neighbors, yeah.
Yeah, so it was wake up in the morning. Everybody's preparing to go to school. Once you're ready, one parent is taking 3 families to school.
Mm.
We're all walking back home together.
Yeah.
We have lunch and we come out to start playing football or different activities from maybe 3 to 6.
Yeah.
Our parents come back, they look for us, we run back home, stay with them for 30 minutes, go out to play again. And so it was fun. It was probably the best part of my life because again there were no responsibilities.
Absolutely.
So it was easy, but it was fun. It was extremely fun. I look back at those moments. We have conversations with people that we've grown up, and it's things that we all see together. It was really fun. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, you said you grew up in Navy Town, and for people who don't know, for you to live in Navy Town, one of your parents
Has to
has
be
to
a
be
naval
a
officer,
naval
yeah.
officer. So, your dad was a naval officer.
Oh yes, he was.
What did your mom do?
Yeah, my mom was a civil servant. She worked in NPA, Nigerian Ports Authority.
Port Authority. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where she worked. So
Okay. And so tell me, what was your first memory of school? Not just primary school. First time you went into school. Do you have a memory of it?
of course, I remember I was very little. I remember always going to school and I was afraid to stay in classes. Then I run to. I think this happens to everybody, or maybe 50% of us.
Yeah.
I'll run to my sister's class and stay under my sister's desk and
Oh,
hide.
for real?
Yeah, then maybe one of our teachers would notice I'm there and take me back. It kept happening for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Then, I got the courage to stay in class.
Yeah.
I think it happened to everybody. I don't know, because I feel people have the same story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I have a similar story as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
So after a while, I got comfortable. That's primary school. I don't really remember much, but I remember that I had a lot of female friends. All the friends I had in primary school were probably girls. Yeah. That's all I remember primary school. Faintly, even junior secondary, I don't really remember a lot, but I remember a lot about my senior secondary from
Okay.
SS1 to SS3. That's fresh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, while you were in school, what subjects did you excel in, or what did you enjoy?
Primary?
Yeah, primary.
Uh, Maybe mathematics. I can't remember in primary school. I really can't remember if what subjects we did. There was maybe 3 or 4. I can't remember.
Yeah, maths,
But it must have been,
English,
it must be math, social studies.
and
Yeah.
religious studies. And that
Yeah,
kind of
in
stuff.
primary school, to be honest, I can't really remember, but maybe mathematics. But like I said, from secondary, I probably have memory of all of
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So
Okay. So let's go to secondary school then.
Yeah, sure.
That's where we met.
yeah,
What was your first thoughts when you went to Nigerian Navy secondary school, Ojo? Like, what was the first thing that came to your mind? Were you scared?
I thought it was going to be difficult, because it was a military school, but and it was tough. But based on the fact that I grew up in the barracks, I was like a naval officer's child. I had people that my elder sister was in the school, so I had an idea of what to expect.
yeah.
My father was a military naval officer, so I knew they would have been a bit kinder towards us, but I was afraid, but it wasn't like the military, because I had friends that went to NMS. I don't know if you know NMS.
Kaduna? Is that
Yeah,
Kaduna?
the military school, Zaria, where
Yeah.
it was hell,
Yeah.
and I was a day student, so in Nigerian Navy, so it wasn't as tough as the guys that were in boarding. So
Yeah.
it was all right
Okay.
overall. Yeah, it was all right.
So, in secondary school, just disclaimer, yeah. Like I said, Victor's my friend. Victor was a very smart guy.
Amen.
He did. Victor did well. He did well. He made, I'd have to work hard to like get the grades he did. But I felt like
Yeah.
Victor used to. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, you still have a very good handwriting.
But tiny.
Clear.
But
Yeah, tiny, but clear.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, what subjects did you enjoy the most?
4. There are 4. First one was agric.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Like, I loved agricultural science.
Mm-hmm.
I always got 90 plus, 90 over 90.
Mm.
The second was economics, and that's how I eventually had to study economics university, because it was interesting. I probably had my economics teacher was probably my best teacher. Beautiful woman, though she was chubby, but I loved her. I remember her name now. Like,
Oh yeah, I can't remember. The only person I remember is Olaiwola.
no. She was that one chubby, fine lady. So it was agric, economics, computer science, and physical education. All these courses I go easy is effortless. Like
Physical education. Who was that woman?
Sport, Mrs. Jatal.
Mrs. Jatal. Yeah, that's I remember.
And
her.
computer science was majorly use of computers.
Yeah.
90 plus. Yeah, so those are my 4 subjects here.
Got you.
And I eventually ended up studying economics in Korean university, because I feel like I was like, economics is easy, but when I go to university, I'm like,
It was a different level. But you're
Exactly.
committed by then.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it.
So what was life like for you in Nigerian Navy? Did you enjoy your time there?
Yes. I remember when I was in junior secondary, school was tough. There were a lot of big seniors. You know how the school was. Punish you if you didn't do
Did you get bullied by any seniors?
They tried to one time. So they said there was a time where, I don't know, there's something called Arudo, where they tell you to go and buy this, buy this. And when you go to the next person and say, senior, this told me to tell you this Arudo, it was a thing where they'll just keep sending you for like an hour, like your break is over. So that happened to me. And when I got to one person that knew my sister, like, young man, just go to your class. Like, they're just wasting your time, There was one time, one guy was trying to beat me. I went to tell my sister. She took me to a Folayan. The guy warned him. And since then, I also had the privilege of being neighbors with one of the most toughest person in Nigeria Navy at the time. I don't know if
Who's
you know
that?
Darl.
I can't remember.
You don't know
no.
Darl? Oh Lord. It was like I was sitting, I was like just when he was SS Street.
Oh, Darryl. Yeah. I heard of him. Yeah.
So because of
Senior Darryl.
because
Yeah.
of him, I could always easily run to him, and he just told his guys to back off. So not much in junior school, not much to be honest. Maybe once, and after people got to know I knew him and everything. It was done.
Okay. So you decided after junior secondary school, for people that don't know the Nigerian educational system, you get to pick arts or science. So what did you choose? Why?
To be honest, I was going to. It was confusing at the time, And back then our parents were very strong on making decisions for us. My mom wanted me to be, because she worked in Nigerian Port Authority, like I said, and at that time she felt like civil engineers were the richest people ever. So she wanted me to be a civil engineer. So she said I should go to sciences. I felt I was comfortable with art courses, all them commerce and all of those things. But eventually my parents, sort of like pushed me in the science direction, So I went to sciences and I was in the famous Echo class.
Echo. The band of cowboys. Shout out to the Echo guys, man, my guys. I was an honorary Echo. My spirit was in Echo, but my body was in a Siri.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ended up in Echo. Obviously, I know that you had a crew.
Yeah.
That you rode with in
where I
Echo.
met,
Those were
the base of the friends I have now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what was that experience like for you? Meeting new people, I guess, discovering interest in the opposite sex as well. How was that? How was that whole experience for you?
I mean, that's where life really started, So, because that's when I understood. We started making friends. So I get into class, and there was some guy called Abba Omale, right?
Shout out to Abba, my guy.
Which I knew from back home. Right. Then he comes with other friends from junior school. That's Coyote and Itoro and Olumaki.
Jobba,
So they come in. So they already have their own mix already from JS3 Agu. Then they come in, then there's Solomon Ayegba, there's Danjuma that comes in, and we just form an 8-man gang, where I think we had the babe amongst us, Sandra
Johnson.
Yeah, so she's, so we just had it was, I can't remember when we used to sit, it was
by the window. I know
by
that.
the window. So it was Danjuma and Solomon, myself and Sandra, Coyote and Abba, Olumaki and Itoro.
Yeah.
And that's how we start, exams, we, planned. So that's how we formed, our clique. I know, we have a WhatsApp group, and in that group, which you are an extension of our
extension. Yeah.
No, so was also in that class, but he had his own gang.
He had his own movement. I think me and also were closer.
Yeah.
Because we had the Satellite Town Alliance.
Exactly.
So
we had Damilola Bello too, but he was,
was Bello and Echo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was actually.
But he was just in around, yeah. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, so it was that's where we formed the base of friendship. I mean, all these people I still talk to till now. We had too much fun. I was the quiet one. Everything I know now, that's where it started from. Played together, looked for trouble together, did all the good things together. So it was fun.
So what was overall? Would you say your experience of secondary school was good? Did you enjoy it?
Great.
That's good.
Great. I mean, I remember, it was good. I mean, we learned. We played, but we learned.
Yeah.
We tried to pass exams. We pushed each other. I remember I always had maths teachers that always came back home when I finished from school, and everybody was trying to, other than just we never had times where we had to repeat or do. No, everybody was doing good. Yeah.
It was definitely a strong crew. You guys had fun, but academically as well, you were solid.
We sound well. Yeah.
Cool. So and just to add to your thing, I can't say my secondary school experience was as fun.
And
I just, I just found it stressful. I found school stressful. The
why?
Yeah, I don't know, like the educational system. I felt like I needed a bit more support that I
Okay.
wasn't getting. You know, when someone comes, the teacher comes and reads the notes. If you're not writing fast enough, good luck. Do
You
you know what I
missing,
mean?
yeah.
Like, yeah, and then you have to catch up.
Yeah, I
And
mean that happened. That happened a lot of times
mm,
where but like again, the crew we had ways
mm.
or means of somebody's writing faster, you get the note after.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, that's the interview is about you anyway. So I
Okay.
just thought I'd say my experience. But okay. So secondary school, you did your jam or YX. Did you? Because I know where you
Yeah, I
went in
mean
the
when
end.
I was
But,
in when I was in SS2, I think, or SS1, they
mm,
wanted me to do this external
mm,
SSC exam, and I did it, and I did very well. It was just like a test. I can't remember what it's
mm.
called, but yeah,
GCE,
GC, yeah,
GCE,
an
yeah.
external. I did it in SS2 or SS1. Yeah, I did it,
Mm-hmm.
and I did very well. So my parents were like, "Oh, so you're ready to, And we did jam, like you said.
Mm.
Unfortunately for me, my jam result was seized
Oh,
because I the center was probably like one
compromised.
where they were compromised. Yeah,
Mm.
so I initially wanted to go to University of Ilorin or Unilag. I think Ilorin was my first choice.
Why was it Lorien your first choice?
It was just something that I think it was one of like I don't know, maybe for people around me at the time, it was
Everyone was
probably
saying
the
you love.
best
Okay, cool.
school. I think right now it's still one of the top 5
Mm.
schools. Yeah. So or Unilag, I don't
Mm.
know why, but since my jam was messed up, I went to private school. So
Got you. So you went to what was your experience in? You went to Covenant University.
yeah, Korea University, the best school in the world.
For real?
Well, not everybody says that, but for me, it was. I mean, I went to school. I was done in 4 years, so
Yeah. True. So what was your experience like in Covenant?
it was interesting. It was interesting. We were in sort of like caged. We're caged because there are rules.
Mm.
We didn't have phones. We weren't allowed to leave how we wanted to. We were allowed to only leave by the school rules. The school had a lot of young people, but it was people from diverse spaces, usually wealthy
Yeah.
somehow. Not everybody that went there were wealthy. Some of us, our parents had to, make sacrifice for us to go there,
Mhm.
because my mom probably knew that I was fragile, so
Mm.
that was probably where I needed to go to. If I'd gone to them federal schools that I thought I don't know how I'd have turned out.
How the
So
coped.
yeah, so it was soft. It was you go into school, you meet older people. Luckily for me, I got to school. I met the first guy I met was a bit older.
Mm.
He had been to university before in Ilorin, so he came. So he guided. So it was easy for me to transit. And it was easy. Like it was pretty much wake up, dress up, enter shuttle, go to school, come back.
Yeah.
Everything was there was light,
Organized.
yeah, everything was. We had showers. We had, it was there are no issues. I wasn't dealing with real life issues that happened
On
outside
top of your
Nigeria.
academics, yeah.
So there was, if you had projects to do, there was laptop. There was no. In fact, I think I had time. There was time when my laptop battery was dead, but I never had issues because there was always power. So it was there was really we had no issues in school. Yeah, it was comfortable to learn, but you can get carried away by playing computer. So it was pretty much, it was cool, good.
Okay, and what was the educational part like? Like, was it, and I'm trying to understand, was it something that came easily to you? I know you said economics. You studied economics. I know you said it was a bit difficult, but how did you make it through? What was your technique?
Economics generally seemed easy, but as so when you 100 level was pretty much okay, but you have courses you borrow, borrow other courses to just fill up your coursework. Because I think in 100 we needed to like 24 unit courses, But I think I realized economics was difficult when we got into 300 level.
Yeah.
There was this econometric course, Lord, that had a lot of maths and statistics, and that's the hard part. Other parts, were easy, like demographic economics, development economics, different. But econometrics was tough, you had times where we had open book tests
Mm.
and everybody was getting 2/20. It was tough. Like
Yeah.
it was tougher than I thought. I thought it was just demand and supply.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was tough. It was probably tougher than it was probably the toughest course in social science. Like out of it, accounting, biz admin, banking and finance, economics was really tough. And I survived. I mean, I probably would have done better in school, but I survived. And there was something that when I got to school, somebody told me to take my 100 level serious, because the way Nigerian system works in terms of grading is once you have a very good 100 level, because it's a CGPA kind of thing,
It holds up the rest of the
so
years.
once you start off badly, even if you're getting 4 points, once they are multiplying it, it's harder to, Yeah, I came from a home where I knew that I had to read. If you go back with bad grades, you're in trouble. So
Yeah. Got you.
pretty much, yeah. So it was either you come out good or you come out good. There's no other option than to, so
Makes sense. All right, so let's speed through. You did your NYSC,
Lagos, yeah.
Lagos, okay, and then where did you start working?
I did my MSc in Lagos. I worked in the bank,
Mm-hmm.
Oceanic Bank at the time, and that's when I started getting chubby. I started making money.
Yeah.
I think Oceanic was, in all the banks, Oceanic was the highest paying banks for coppers. I didn't want to serve in Oceanic.
Yeah.
I just luckily got there, and it was interesting. It was one of the easiest ways to learn banking. It was good. It was good. I was in marketing, so in marketing you learn products, and that's how I got into banking, and that's probably the best way to get into banking.
Got you. So, how did you get into banking? I know you did your NYSC. After NYSC, how long were you at home for before you got a proper role? And with who?
So unfortunately, when I was serving at the bank, at the time, it was when the CBN governor at the time, Sanusi, there was some squabbles in the banking sector where he's Intercontinental, Oceanic, and a few banks. The bank MDs were, somewhat, indicted for some certain things.
Yeah.
So the banks, naturally, those banks usually retain coppers, but for some reason that year they didn't retain any copper, or maybe a few people that had connections, and they let everybody go. That was a huge setback because I'd already, made plans. I'd seen coppers that finished last year buying new cars. I'm like, the life is about to start, you know.
Yeah.
So, but we went, didn't retain any of us, and we went back home. I worked in MTN as a customer service rep at the time for like 2 years plus. Then I went back into banking. I got an opportunity to go to banking, and I went back into banking. Don't know if I should call the name of the bank here, but I went back into banking, and I worked for about 5 years. No, 5 in the bank. Then I went into like a finance house, and I did like 3 years in sales, before I left Nigeria.
Got you. Okay. So while you were working, how long were you in the bank for?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. So what was your experience like working in the bank?
It was good. It was good. It was learning for me. That was probably the place where I learned the most. To be honest, that's probably the place I learned the most. That's where I learned politicking. It was like a Nigerian bank, where Yoruba bank, where so to speak, we didn't have too many other people from different tribes, so but I excelled. I had one fantastic boss who, rewarded hard work. So I did well. My time was lovely, and the opportunity came for me to move to a finance house that was just opening, like a startup, where I'll take like a more leadership role, mid-management role, so to speak, and I took the opportunity. Yeah. So the bank was like the foundation of like my career basically, because the MTN was like a customer service job, which I believe didn't require too much, from me. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you were at the bank, you were getting paid. I'm sure you were making some money that made you comfortable. Um, when did you start toying with the idea to leave Nigeria?
Um, while I was in the bank, my wife had a sister that had traveled to Canada, and for some reason they were selling the idea to them. And so my wife was always pushing it to me, and I was like, that's no need. Like,
Mm.
I'm comfortable. Banker, I had checks. I could buy anything I wanted to buy. Checks, So life was starting up. And I'm like, there's probably no need to, to do that. But something happened.
Mm.
Don't know if I want to talk about it.
Yeah,
in depth.
you don't have to. Just say as much as you want to say about it. But yeah.
Yeah, so there was an experience with the bank where something happened and I got involved in something that led to me facing disciplinary committee, and I realized that after the whole experience, I realized that the Nigerian system in general, was a bit dodgy. Like, you have something and before you know it, you don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I just felt like it might be, I started buying into the idea, and that's when I started saying, okay, you know what, let's try this. I started getting involved. Okay, let's do this, let's do that. And yeah, that's when I started thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay. And so you decided to leave what year, or when was everything set up for you to leave?
Well, so before then, I left the bank,
Mhm.
right? And I got a job in like a finance house where we pretty much give out loans to businesses.
Mhm.
Again, I said the bank was where I learned most. But when I came here, it was where I grew in terms of career. I had to do sales. People always feared sales before, but it was something I started enjoying. I learned way more than I learned in the bank. I started meeting people. And I started getting comfortable. And there was an idea of growth. So while I was Canada, I was trying to process Canada. I was taking a while, and I was enjoying. I was enjoying working here, growing. But eventually, the Canadian thing worked out. So I had to make a decision, really.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay back one more year, but my wife was of the opinion that, look, hey, COVID happened some years back. We don't know what's going to happen. So let's just hop and leave, So I did like 3 months. Then we went, then we decided to relocate. Trust me, it was not easy. Because I felt like things were just starting to pick up, in maybe another 2-3 years, I'd have grown to, senior management or, and you want me to go abroad and start all over again. So it was a tough decision, to be honest.
Got you. So eventually you guys decided to leave.
Yep.
What was your first experience when you landed in Canada?
It was good.
Mhm.
Largely because of I had like a lot of people that had gone before me. So before I was feeding off different advices. I had people that had gone before me. So I was able to get a house easily. I got a house around the community where I had helpful Nigerians, like past colleagues, here and there, schoolmates, which helped me to settle pretty fast, quicker than most, and it was good. Like, it was new, like a lot of culture shocks, especially, let's not go to work, but a lot of culture shocks in terms of how things were done, how the country was organized, it wasn't easy, but it was, these people around me made things a lot easier. I mean, the first thing that happened is we were paying rent monthly, bills, In Nigeria,
not
back
like
then
in
it was
Nigeria where you pay
once
a year and you forget
so,
about it. But
yeah,
then imagine being told to pay the amount of rent we pay on this side of the world Imagine
Once
being
it-
told to pay.
It'll be crazy. Yeah, so what happened is you just have to. So what happened back home is you ain't get paid. You just save it up.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but because of the kind of issues that happen, you eat out of it. So but it's easier to just I mean, I like Canada, to be honest. I wish I came here earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe by now I've been going back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at the end of the day, the move to Canada has been fairly recent. So
Yeah.
we're not going to stick too much about that because you're still figuring things out
we
and
can
you're making
touch a bit of-
moves.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. So with regards to Canada, actually, let's stick to Canada for a bit. So, what advice would you give people who are one thing that you have actually done recently is gone through the application process, the visa application process. I know it takes a while.
Okay.
So what could you tell people who are already in the system now? So people who have applied, what can they do differently? Is there anything they need to be aware of, or things that they need to start in terms of like making plans? So people who are about to leave, because you've recently left. I know it's a couple of years, but what kind of plans can they start making now?
Well, when I came into Canada, the first thing I figured out was during the period where I knew I was going to go to Canada, and when I traveled to Canada was a space of 2 years. I realized that there were certain job that were in demand that if I'd known while waiting, I'd have tried to get skilled on them.
Qualifications or
Yeah,
get skills
so when I
around.
get into the country, it would have been easier. And that's what I told. Once I came in, that's what I told everybody that was trying to get in. Like, while you're waiting, like it may take a while. The process is long, but just try. Look at this one or two things. Try and do them.
Can you tell us a bit of like the kind of things that people who are watching, give an example? Or,
I mean, back then, there were, Salesforce courses,
Okay,
business
yeah.
analyst, project management, Scrum.
yeah,
Those are the,
the
then
IT
for
kind
IT,
of things.
and cybersecurity and all of those things. Just those things. It would give you an edge when you
Yeah.
come in. As opposed to, because I know a lot of people came in and they got, same level of jobs that they were doing. Some people came in and got entry level jobs. Some people started doing any kind of jobs. So that's what I would say. But again, looking at the Canadian job market now, based on my experiences, it's harder than when I got in. Yeah, it's harder than when I got in. So
it's even more imperative that people need to
exactly
scale up. And
Yeah, and I think that the employers have started figuring people out in terms of they probably don't want people that haven't done all these short courses.
yeah. That
so,
have or that have not.
because a lot of times most people do those courses and they get the jobs and they don't really
They don't deliver compared to what.
So it's as though these employers are like, what, we're not too sure. That's what I feel. Because it's harder to get jobs now. Like when I came in, I know because they told me like applying for jobs in Canada is like a job on its own. You have to take your time. You're not rushing to send applications. You make maybe an application into like 2 hours. Detailed cover letter and all of those things. And just stand out because the competition. There's a lot of people are coming into the country. It's even more now. So there might be jobs, but there are more people competing for them. So you have to stand out. Your CV has to be. You have to
impeccable.
be detailed as regards your roles, and you probably just need to know what you're doing. Like so.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
And so for the guys in Nigeria out there, would you say it's you've made a good decision leaving so far?
Yes and no.
Okay. Let's start with the no. Why isn't it a good decision?
I feel like, while I knew I was coming here, there are certain people who, like, for them, their career is just, starting to grow, So I know that I have friends in Nigeria that are senior managers that, I feel like for my age group, we're about to break into, senior management, because,
Level.
so I know people that have gotten PRs in Canada and have refused to come because, after all the sweat of, grinding, trying to come up, so they're still there. And I know that, how Nigeria is like, you just need an opportunity to blow, so they're there. So I feel like in 10 years' time or 15 years' time, I'm abroad, I'm probably earning in foreign currency. So I'm probably building substantial, but they too are growing. And I feel like for those that are in good careers back home, in 10 years' time, when we sit down and talk and look at each other, we're probably not far off.
Too
I
far
feel like
off.
if I stayed back, I probably would have, I mean, just that the currency, disparity.
The currency devaluation recently has been an issue.
Other than that, but, you know how Nigeria is, you could just, you can just be there and, something comes on your lap.
But that's 1 in 1,000 though. You have to be lucky.
You have to be connected,
You know?
And I feel like we're getting to the point where I started having people in. So I probably, while I was in Nigeria, I got to the position where, if you had somebody that needed a job, it's easier for me to
make a call.
Call a friend because a friend of mine was in places where he could easily say, oh, I suppose so things were started looking up, so I felt like we left at especially for those that came back here and had to go lower in terms of, but again, when I look at the work culture here, like I'd rather be here, to be honest, but those that didn't come for whatever reason, like if you had a good job, you're earning well, it's okay.
Yeah, I'd imagine like, your case was different because you had a bad experience, which made you just think, I need to get out of here. But, if that didn't happen, I'm pretty sure that you would have, unless something, threw you off a bit, but I'm pretty sure you'd have still been doing it. Okay, so that's the no. What is the yes? So what is the, what makes this journey to Canada, to emigrate to Canada a good thing?
Well, the opportunities.
A good decision.
Yeah, the education, you're leaving your home country to come out to learn different cultures. Like Canada, you see different people from Asia, Europe, Africa, the work environment, the, peace of mind. Canada is so peaceful. I think when I was in Nigeria, I had issues with stress. Back home, you close by 5. You really don't close by 5. You're working till like maybe 8.
Damn.
Or 7. And it's, you close by 5, but nobody tells you, like, it's something that,
you stay back.
Just, and sometimes there's traffic, so you stay back till like 10, so you can just drive home.
Oh, wow.
Like, 10:30, 11. I remember when I started working here and I was there, like, close by 5, but from 4:30 you can stand up and leave. I'm like, really? And I'm like, no, I can stay to sleep. Like, my boss says, please, we don't want you to do that. At times when I get mails, I try to respond at like, say, 7:30. Somebody called me and said, no, we resume at 8. I'm like,
those stressors.
That's something in Nigeria. So yeah, the work culture, it's a more advanced country. You have kids, they have more opportunities here. The passports, you can travel, with Nigerian passport, you can't really do much with it. But, when you get the PR, you can now decide to say, you know what, you want to go back home, you want to go anywhere you want to go to, you have access to, so those are the perks, Yeah, other than that, I mean, I love Nigeria. Like, I'm going back to Nigeria,
Yeah.
When I don't know, like, I wish I came earlier, so by now I probably would have been going back.
Yeah.
But maybe I'd have mopped up all the effects.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it, pretty much.
Still working on it. We'll get there. So, one thing I have to say, Don, these are conversations that we've had off air.
Okay.
But we talk a lot about the state of Nigeria and how we won't be here if Nigeria was
definitely
fair, not even excellent or anything.
Yeah.
Nigeria was fair. Like, if the people who are in power did at least 50% of what they were meant to do, then we would go there and hustle. So I just want you to touch a bit on that aspect of things, like the fact that we're emigrating because our home country is not conducive enough for us to pursue our dreams and
Yeah. Okay, so again, Nigeria is a loving place. You know, nobody wants to leave home.
Mm-hmm.
First off, Nigeria is home for us. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where family is. You know, that's where friends are. I mean, other than you coming back home when I was in Nigeria or me traveling here, we probably wouldn't have seen each other. I have friends
Absolutely.
I haven't seen for years. You know, we are different places. You know, but if we're back home, you know, and things we're working, would have been able to sound
Connect
minds come
and-
together, build things together. But we're in different locations. You know, so again, Nigeria is it's very difficult. You know, you have to be connected to be able to, you know, make it out of Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, I speak to everybody, and they're like, you know what? If the country was good enough, we probably would not be here. Why am I in minus? You know, when I can
Exactly.
be at
Yeah.
home?
Yeah.
You know, why
Warm
am I-
weather, good
yeah,
food.
Yeah, why are we, you know, using our brains here?
Mm.
Why we can, you know? So the country is so, and I think the immigration spike happened when we had when the Buhari regime. I think
Buhari.
I think the second term. You know,
Yeah.
at that point people were tired, you
Fed
know.
up.
Yeah, you know, so people were like, you know what? Even people that were doing well, like,
Mhm.
or I had, you know, there's a friend of mine that told me that he was ExxonMobil boats and they were leaving. I'm like, really?
Mm.
You know, because they just didn't see the future in, you know, how their kids were going to survive here.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's sad. Like, it's really sad. I wish things were a lot different. We probably would not have needed to come here.
Mhm.
You know, I will make our country great, you know, but again, we've chosen the option to leave, and
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has a decision to make.
Okay, so on that topic, do you have a message to our leaders? Is there anything you want to say? Don't call anybody else specifically, but what can you tell them to?
They should just wake up. Like, these people come here, they travel, we have the resources, they don't go and implement the things that they see here, you know. So it's really sad, you know, and it's painful because Nigeria can be like these countries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can have a system that works, but everybody's just greedy.
Mm-hmm. And
unfortunately, you know, nobody is going to. It seems like the next man that is going there is not going to change anything because they feel like, you know what, I might as well just take what I can take and move, because that's what
everybody else is doing.
Yeah. So I wish we could have good leaders, which can only come from like a good electoral system where we can vote freely, and if we're allowed to vote freely without any manipulations, we'll probably be able to elect leaders that we can hold accountable in terms of, so you do your 4 years, you don't perform,
you're out. Yeah.
We can take you out. But these guys know that when they go in there, they gather financial muscle and they, you know, so to, you know, use whatever it is takes to rule again. And once they are gone, they look for how to plant somebody in there.
Yeah, to keep
that, you know,
the door
the
open.
pipe, you know, they keep extending these things, and Nigeria is chop by chop. Yeah, like.
But if that's the case, then it will never be enough for everybody. Because
it will never be enough. You just have to be connected.
Person A wants to chop more than everybody else, and person B
if you're
wants.
not connected to the source, you're just, you know, just working and working and working, and you know, I feel like it will get to the point where it will not be enough anymore, and because in Nigeria, I feel like there's the rich. I don't even know if there's a middle class. It's probably lower middle class, you know, and the poor. So, you know, and they'll get to a point where everybody will be fed up, you know. And
but you know the worst part? I feel like even if that time comes, it won't be the people who are responsible for the mess
that will suffer.
Yeah, some people might just be rich. Maybe they're business people.
Yeah.
They have companies.
Yeah.
They've grafted from the ground up. You know, the
And
politicians will be on a private jet somewhere.
Yeah, and it's sad because, you know, Nigeria has great brains. Like, I worked in private sector. When you work, my MDs or my group heads, intelligent people, you know, they're people that, you know, if they go into politics, they can lead, because you see them leading private sector successfully, you know, but the guys in public sector are just, you know, completely different. And, you know, one time I was asking one of my bosses that, why don't you go into politics? Like, it's like, there's just too much involved. Like, you know,
and they play dirty as well.
Yeah, just
happy
rather,
to,
you know, have a successful company, employ youths, do your beats, and, you know, and just, you know, serve, you know. So That's it, man.
Got you.
It's rather unfortunate. Like we should all be back home, But
Yeah,
again, we are here trying to have a better life for each other. So
of course. And you also mentioned that at some point you're planning on going home.
definitely,
What is the plan? Like for someone like me, we're age mates, right?
yeah.
If I say I'm going home, what are we going to do? Are we going into politics? Are we just going to make money? Because I feel like we can make money wherever, but we really need to go and make a change. Yeah. And the change I'm talking about isn't going in and contesting, but we need to be politically relevant.
Yeah,
So and I'm not saying that you might not have an interest in politics, so that's not what I'm suggesting, but for people who have come, use the term mopping up the FX, they've come here, they've mopped up the FX, what's the plan? What are we going to do? What are we going to achieve?
okay. So everybody wants to survive, right?
Mhm.
So we've come here, we've been able to survive. There's earn money, done business, made a lot of money. Now we're even in the harsh weather or whatever. Going back home, it depends on what age you want to go back.
Mhm.
Some people would have made enough money for them to just go back and just relax,
Mhm.
right? But ideally, it's you have to affect lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important. So you have to go back home. I think the idea is to go back home and set up something.
Mhm.
For those that want to, go into business, set up something that will generate money, and use the knowledge you've gotten in the Western world and to go back home and set something up and create employment
Yeah.
and that scale for those that are interested in, because to be honest, we need people that are in politics. We need
Yeah.
young people in politics, that have good intentions to
Yeah.
go back, with the idea, to go back and cleanse the system, and
If
and
I
so-
went into politics, would you vouch for me?
yeah,
Yeah? My
yeah,
guy.
definitely, because I know that. I mean, I've known you for forever, so I know
Yeah.
that you have the intention of the people at. So if we can start from the grassroots, maybe local government chairman, start growing, and before you know it, infiltrate the system and take over. It's going to be almost impossible because these guys that have a stronghold on the system
not
are
prepared to
they are not
let
prepared
go.
to let go. But if you go back in numbers, everybody goes back. Like for me, it's just to stay work for as long as I can.
Yeah.
I don't want to be old here. Go back home, set up a business that can employ a few people to give them an opportunity to,
Yeah.
so just leave, because again, the job opportunity there is minimal, so if everybody can, go back, and I mean, Nigeria is a very, very virgin market for people that want to go into business, yeah.
If you can
Population
withstand
alone,
the
yeah,
the stress and the uncertainty.
exactly,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
very much that's it.
So without going into too much specifics, let's start rounding up. But what's the plan for the future? I know you know long term, still ending up in Nigeria. For the years that you're planning on spending in Canada, like what's the general outlook? What are you hoping to? Because you left Nigeria for a reason, right? So
Yeah, I mean,
so what's the end goal while you're out there?
ultimately to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm currently on vacation now,
Mm-hmm.
and I've learned a few lessons. So it's basically to put in a lot of work in our productive
Yes.
ages. Yeah, because as we get older, we probably can't do much. So just try and career-wise, try and grow. So you can earn more money. If you're trying to go into business,
Yeah.
collaborate with as many people as possible, so you can
It takes the weight off that collaboration.
Yeah.
People you can trust.
Yeah, so collaborate, put one or two together, make some money, and just, enjoy your time. Like, all of my time when I worked back home, whenever I take vacations, I just stay at home. You get me? 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm at home resting because I'm going back to work.
Mm-mm-mm.
But when you come here, you see that people are taking vacations, they're going places to relax, to travel, to learn code, so
Yeah.
I just feel like you know, I need to go back and put more work in, be more aggressive. Normally, I'm not an aggressive person,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I think I need to be slightly more aggressive, you know.
In pursuing your goals and
Yeah, you know,
objectives. And,
yeah, and just focus on, you know, getting things done quickly so
Mhm.
you can, you know, stay happy. I have a friend that I met that recently during this wedding I came from in the UK. Aki's leaving.
Mm.
He's, you know, left he left Nigeria,
Mm.
came to Canada, got his PR. One day he just stood up and said he wasn't doing it again. Went to Australia. I recently learned he resigned from Australia, packed his bag, says not staying there anymore. And he's in Cyprus today.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's just living like
Enjoying life. I'm
Yeah.
guessing he's not married.
he's
or-
not, and he doesn't intend to get married.
Okay, that answers that. you should have started with that part
You know,
first.
so he's
'cause-
just living, you know,
Yeah.
and I feel like even those that people that are married and have kids can, you know, I mean, somehow the Western world helps you, you know, be balanced. If you have some things in place, your kids don't have to worry about so much. If you have insurance in place, you
Yeah.
have some savings, you know. So, I mean, it's all about happiness, to be honest, just to be happy while you're alive. That's the ultimate goal. And look for ways and means to be happy. You know, stay away from too much debt and just try and be happy. Like, go on vacation as much as you can, stay happy, work on your goals, and just, you know, just prioritize things and stay focused, basically.
Sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Victor, I think this is a good place for us to stop the interview.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you very much. I know a lot of people will not have been expecting to, you know, see us have this conversation.
Yeah,
Especially because you live thousands and thousands away, thousands of miles away from me.
when I've
so-
been seeing all the episodes, you know, I'm like, you know,
Yeah,
one day, but when?
That one day is today.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, thank you very much.
Good to have me.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, it's been amazing having you. Is there anything else you want to say? Anyone you want to send a message out to?
Not really. I just want to say I'm proud of what you're doing. I mean, you showed me a few things that you're doing. I think you're doing way too much for a human being. Please slow down, you know.
That's
Just
the
slow
only
down.
way. That's the only way I know
You're
how
hustling
to
on
do it, man.
200%, man. Just slow down, okay? Yeah, but you're doing
I'll
fantastic.
slow down when something sits. When something sits. You know,
Yeah,
until
man.
then,
Yeah.
until then. But yeah, thank you very much, man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
just it's the lifestyle with children, you know.
Yeah,
so.
that's okay.
But yeah. So on that note, I want to say if you stayed up to this part of the video, thank you very much for watching. On Matt Studios, we're trying to create informative and positive content. So as a result, that's why we have Victor here talking about his immigration journey and just life in general. But thank you very much, and see you next time on the next
Bye,
episode.
guys.
Bye.
Whoop.
Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Jappa Central episodes. Thanks for watching.